Okay, so I'm gonna make this quick video to talk about something important here that I need to note down. Okay, so I was thinking about, like water backpacks, what's equipment, how do they relate to modules, so on and so forth, right? So a module is a system concept. It's not something, a module is not necessarily visible within the user realm. But it is visible within the developer realm, okay? Now, within the user realm, we have backpacks that are managed by or in accordance with the inventory system. And you can have multiple backpacks that you can access, just like this one. Arena, you're gonna have arena backpack, and you're gonna have a way to interact with that as well. And then you'll have equipment. Now, the save button is a good example of what equipment is, right? And equipment is almost like a module, except that for every module you're not gonna have an equipment item, but for every equipment item you can it can be an almost one-to-one representation with a module, or with multiple modules, or with, actually, I don't know if with multiple modules, but you can have essentially multiple equipment items that are managed by one module. And so equipment, you can see it. This is not a good example. So equipment, say it's gonna be like a configuration for like which equipment is active and which equipment is not, and for all of those available equipment there set up for this room, like what's the configuration for each of them, right? So for the backpack, for example, there can be an equipment item that is an arena TV, right? And that arena TV is pretty much like on my previous version in Kindergarten, where you had a TV widget that would allow you to browse channels, and it would fetch stuff, and then it would allow you to drag and drop shit. That is, that's an example of equipment, right? And there would be a module, like arena equipment or arena cards or arena whatever, arena kit. And that module would provide an arena backpack, which would synchronize items, to arena. But then it would require also to have an equipment like an arena communicator, or like an arena fax type of thing that manages the credentials for communicating with arena. And it's the thing that's in charge of synchronizing or showing the arena backpack, right? Additional to that equipment item, you would have an arena TV, which that can exist as a card within the room, as in like within Kindergarten, and that would allow you to like drag and drop shit from it, as you would. So, but that specific arena channel, it would have also states. It's like this. You would have a turned off state, or you would have a turned on state, and if it's turned on, then which channel can it connect to that channel? Well, it depends, is there internet or not, was it able to do that? So those are the things that correspond to a card. There's a state in it, and there's a static representation of it, which is in HTML and CSS. So what I'm not sure though is, because it's an equipment item, so you have backpack items, And then you have equipment items, right? And then, so the thing about equipment items is that you cannot put an equipment item on your backpack. That just doesn't make sense, right? Because you cannot put a fucking TV on your backpack. It's that's not the intention here. Like, you should not be able to do that, right? Like, it's, I mean, you could, technically speaking, because it has the same metadata. And by same metadata, I mean this thing, it would have an icon, a grid, position, a width, a height, a card, a state, a content. Like on a TV, it would be Arena TV, it would be turned off, or it would be turned on, or channel view, and then this would be like the channel ID, right? But, and yeah, I mean, so maybe it is an item, because then what's the problem? But like the reason is like my reasoning here is like, why would you save, an Arena TV item on a backpack? Like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could, kind of like just have like a room where there's like, hey, like this is, like you start there and then you have like a bunch of TVs that you can just like put on the room and be like, well, yeah, you have this TV for this thing, and then you have this other TV, and for some reason you want to do that. I guess, yeah, I guess I just answered myself, and that's the goal there. So yeah, I guess that's how you would. So you would be able to put an equipment item on your backpack, given that it has the same metadata, and given that you could have that flexibility if you want. Yeah. So yeah, for the save example here, like, yeah, I mean, it would be simple, right? It would be just an equipment that's either turned on or turned off, and then you can also have some settings there, like well, in this case here it's gonna use it just creates this, and then it creates a blob, right? And then you download that blob, but then you can have some configurations there, like you could say, like, do you want to strip off some modules? You want to strip them off? Do you want to like, do you want to show some stuff on this model thing, like, just customization for it, really? And that's essentially it. Like, do you want to do this? Do you want to, like, because I mean, right now, yeah, it's gonna show some configuration settings there, or maybe maybe this module, I mean this equipment thing, maybe it's the only thing that you can really customize is whether it's active or not, and that's okay too. You'll have equipment items that are like that, and you can turn them off or on if for whatever reasons. Like, maybe you just want to do whatever. I don't know if I would add the option to remove them from the HTML. I guess it depends. That's a fully destructive action, and it may have some unintended consequences, like if there are dependencies for that equipment item, like things will break for sure. So I don't know if we want that. I mean, we could allow that, and then you can break things if you want, right? I don't know about that, but I just wanted to like do that. I'll talk about these notes because I think these are the two main components right now that I have discovered. There's also going to be a module that for checkpoints, but that's a module. That doesn't have to do anything with equipment and backpack. I mean, it could be equipment. It could be managed as equipment if there are configurations for it. But if there's nothing to configure there, then you might not want to add an equipment item for it. Another equipment item example is say you want to have a chatbot, right? And an LLM, and say you wanted to, if it's turned on, then it's gonna provide like a chat box there, or like some dude here, and then you'll be able to be like, okay, you have this thing selected, and then you know, you're gonna say like, hey, you know, I selected this text. Please create a new arena block with it here, you know, or, you know, maybe I have a bunch of nodes, you know, like I have a bunch of these things, you know, like just a bunch of them, and it's like, hey, they're like all over the place, and you know, you want to say something like, hey, you know, arrange them, you know, make them, like, reorganize them, order by whatever thing, and then like the AI would somehow, you know, figure out what that is. I was actually playing around with something dumb. Like, there's actually a way to manage functions and external tools, but I felt like that, you know, there's just a lot to do. Like, it's a specific API, and like the code base, yeah, it's like early alpha tool use, and like there's just stuff that it would take me a while to figure out. And so I'm like, you know, I just need to do a few very specific things, and I think that the model is capable of doing something like this. So I just added, like, you know, some instructions to how to handle the intention, and how to convert the intentions of the user to like a string format like this, and you know, that's easy to parse essentially, and I feel like that's easier to manage. So, anyways, the thing is, like, that's what I'm thinking right now. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how things evolve as well. How do I end this video? I'm using Mac. Oh, there you are. Ooh. Stop recording.